I think Sam Fender is one of the most exciting acts in British rock at the moment. He's carved out this incredible indie anthemic sound, guitar-driven, 80s-inspired energy with those introspective, unapologetic and socially conscious lyrics. His debut album, Hypersonic Missiles, topped the UK album chart, as did his equally impressive second record, 17 Going Under. He's won a bunch of awards, from Brits, an Ivor Novello, and a Mercury Prize nomination. Clearly, his brand of music is resonating in a way that we've not really seen in recent rock music history. His rise to stardom is extraordinary. His songs explore themes of working class struggles, mental health, and just the difficulty of modern life, especially in the context of South Shields and the northeast of England. The northeast is where he grew up, and it's got the highest rate of suicide in the country. Fender uses his voice to expose the struggles of a broken generation growing up in a place like this. So let's go through Sam's incredible journey so far and try to understand what his music's all about. Sam's musical journey begins in 2002, when he was 8 years old. He received his first guitar, and by the age of 10, he was fully proficient. His father, Alan, was a singer-songwriter and later became a music teacher. Sam's brother Liam played the drums. So Sam was comfortable in early life in a musical family. Just 2 years later, at age 12, he met Dean Thompson, another lad who enjoyed playing guitar. They became good friends and performed together, covering the likes of Jimi Hendrix and Kings of Leon, their first performance being at Dean's uncle's birthday. By the age of 13, making music was all Sam wanted to do in life. By age 14, Sam was writing his own music, inspired by the likes of Bruce Springsteen, who would be a massive influence on him, as well as artists like Jimmy Page, Tom Petty, and Slash. He learned to sing with Jeff Buckley's album Grace. Now, despite this illusion of living in a nice, comfortable, musical family, his life soon began to take a dark turn, with the realities of where he lived beginning to set in. As a young teenager, he and his mother found the body of a woman that they knew who had died to suicide, an experience that deeply impacted his formative years. His mother left when he was 8, but he would reconnect with her later after being kicked out of his father's house by his stepmother. At that time, his mother was living in the Scottish borders, where Fender would spend time growing up on visits. At 17, his mother was forced to end her 40-year nursing career. Due to fibromyalgia, Fender considered selling drugs to support her, an experience that would inspire some lyrics in the single 17 Going Under. Drugs, especially spice, had become an omnipresent thing in his life. While he smoked a couple of times due to social pressure, he was able to stop before things got too bad. Some of his friends, however, weren't so fortunate. They became addicted for years, and their lives were destroyed, according to Sam. He idolized his father for his musical talent and saw him as a tough man trying to provide for his children in a region plagued by limited opportunities. Fender's stepfather, after serving in the forces, found himself homeless for over a year, and he struggled to escape street life. While studying in school, Fender juggled 2 jobs, working at a local restaurant and pub. From around age 17, he drank alcohol daily to cope with the exhaustion from work. He eventually dropped his A-levels to earn money and support his mother with her condition. She also developed a mental illness, and both had fallen below the poverty line at this point. Fender found his escape in music. Around the age of 18, Fender began playing paid gigs at restaurants and bars. And you can see the amount of awful life experience that Sam went through in his younger years, which would eventually translate into his music. These were the types of lives that working class people from South Shields and all over the country to an extent were living. He was able to resonate with them and relate to them with his songwriting. And soon, this would get him noticed. He was soon discovered by Owen Davies, the manager of singer-songwriter Ben Howard. Owen took Sam on as a client, and by 2013, Sam was playing gigs across the country, supporting artists like Ben Howard and Willie Mason. Sam would later say, "I was lucky. I was working in a pub and Ben Howard's manager had come home to celebrate winning a Brit Award. I was behind the bar pulling pints and my boss told me to get my guitar out and play something. Owen, impressed, put his money where his mouth was and invested in me. Without the lowlights, I wouldn't be here," he said. "It's the scene where it all started." I don't believe in fate, but the night Owen walked into that pub really makes me question it. In 2015, at age 20, Sam had to take a break from music because of a major health scare. Now, this isn't something he's talked about much publicly. Speaking to The Guardian in 2019, Sam said, "I don't want to become a charity case or seem like I'm using it to get people to like my music. I'll probably talk about it eventually, just not now," describing it as a crazy traumatic experience. During his recovery, he refocused his songwriting, writing songs for him rather than what he thought would be popular. "I started writing for myself rather than what I thought people wanted to hear. When you're unsure if you'll survive, it makes you want to write songs that actually mean something to you." With this philosophy in mind, he eventually independently released his debut single in 2017, Play God. This would give us a taste of what was to come with Sam Fender. The song tackles the political climate and the Middle East, and addresses the increasing power of world leaders, critiquing the control and scrutiny exerted by those in power. 2017 also saw the release of Millennial, a song tackling social media addiction, as well as Friday Fighting, a song that describes the bleak scenes in his own hometown. And this theme of tackling social issues continued with his debut EP, Dead Boys, released in 2018. Pound Shop Kardashians is filled with angry lyrics that criticize society's tendency to idolize idiots in an increasingly apathetic world. The track That Sound suggests that music is what keeps Sam going every day, is what kept him from falling down similar holes he's seen his friends fall down. And the EP's title track, Dead Boys, was inspired by the suicide crisis in the northeast of England, inspired by two of his friends who died from suicide. Now, make no mistake, these songs were protest songs. He concentrates on the pressing issues that affect everyone in modern society, making his work feel strikingly relevant. This distinctive edge to his sound differentiates him from other indie rock artists of today. He could have easily fallen into the trap of catchy but forgettable lyrics that serve their purpose but lack depth. But that's not his approach. His music carries a raw intensity and strength that really sets him apart. With the release of his EP, he was shortlisted on the BBC's Sound of 2018 alongside acts like Billie Eilish and Sigrid. Play God was later added to the FIFA 19 video game, exposing it to millions of players, most of whom were likely around his age and shared similar life experiences. He also signed to Polydor Records in 2018. So the hype around Sam was beginning to build in a big way. Together with his band, which includes Dean Thompson, Joe Atkinson, Tom Ungerer and Drew Michael, Sam started performing at various shows and touring as a supporting act for different artists. Saxophonist Johnny Blue Hat Davis would soon join the band too. Following the release of Dead Boys, Sam and his band kicked off a headline tour that featured 3 sold-out shows in London and 1 in Newcastle, in addition to a 13-date tour across Europe and Australia. His debut album, Hypersonic Missiles, was released on September 13th, 2019. It debuted at number 1 on the UK Albums Chart, selling over 41,000 copies in its first week. And it featured some big tunes: The Borders, Will We Talk, Dead Boys, Play God, and of course, the lead single, Hypersonic Missiles. The album has since gone platinum. Before the release of his album, Sam Fender made a high-profile appearance on The Graham Norton Show in May 2019, boosting his profile even more. He also continued to tour and perform sold-out shows. But he had to cancel several performances, including one at Glastonbury Festival, due to a vocal injury in mid-2019. After taking around a month to rest, he returned, supporting Bob Dylan and Neil Young in Hyde Park and setting a record for the fastest-selling show at the Mouth of the Tyne Festival, where he sold out within just 40 minutes as the headliner. While the album performed incredibly well, reaching number 1 in the UK, critically, it wasn't quite perfect. It was praised for the more intimate songs like the previously released Dead Boys and The Borders, that explores the pain of dysfunctional family life with vivid storytelling. These tracks resonate with young men grappling with issues of masculinity and vulnerability, showcasing Fender's ability to tackle serious themes with sensitivity. However, critics took aim at Fender's attempt to tackle too much at once. They argued, for example, that the title track's lyrics feel clunky and unfocused, Although some tracks demonstrated obvious talent and huge potential, some critics argued that the album suffered from a lack of focus and formulaic arrangements. But Fender's musical storytelling shone through the record, earning him comparisons with the likes of Bruce Springsteen. And these are all criticisms that Fender agreed with. Hypersonic Missiles include songs from various stages of Sam Fender's early musical journey, so it's a mixed bag of songs, some written years prior, and it does give the album a sense of being incomplete. It's not a true reflection of him as an adult songwriter. There are moments of brilliance, of course, but it is lacking overall cohesion. And Fender himself admitted that he was expecting mixed reaction since many tracks were written when he was just 19 and not fully aligned with his artistic vision. He also said that he thought some of the tracks in the latter half of the album probably could have been left out. Despite this, as mentioned, the album performed exceedingly well, and Fender was practically a household name. He received the 2019 Brits Rising Star Award, previously known as the Critics' Choice Award. To commemorate his win, he honoured his promise by showcasing the Brit Award at the Lowlights Tavern, the pub where he used to work, and was discovered by his manager. Currently, the award is displayed on the bar, functioning as a pump for one of the pub's beer taps. The next couple of years would see Sam Fender really getting to grips with the celebrity lifestyle while working on his next album. He became good friends with Elton John, a self-professed fan of Fender. In 2020, Elton invited Sam to perform at his annual AIDS Foundation Academy Awards party, which was held after the Oscars. During the event, Elton joined Sam on stage to perform the song Will We Talk? These experiences and this lifestyle, however, wouldn't stop him from remembering who he is and where he came from. On November 24th, 2020, Sam Fender released Winter Song, a cover of the 1970 Lindisfarne track to raise money for the street newspaper The Big Issue. He explained that he wanted to create a Christmas song that was meaningful to him, emphasizing the relevance of its lyrics during a year when many would face a different holiday experience. The accompanying music video, created in collaboration with people of the streets, aims to present the perspective of homeless individuals. Here, Sam is really highlighting the importance of showcasing the human side of homelessness. Now, Fender's next single is where things would go truly stratospheric. 17 Going Under was the first single Sam wrote for his next album. The single was released in July 2021, followed by the full album of the same name, which came out on October 8th. 17 Going Under quickly became a hit, reaching number 3 on the UK singles chart. The title track especially had a huge impact on social media. It went viral. Children, teenagers, and young adults filmed themselves using a line from 17 Going Under to initiate essential conversations about abuse, depression, and personal struggles. That line, of course, being, "I was far too scared to hit him, but I'd hit him in a heartbeat now." In that song, Sam is talking about his teenage years, regretting not being able to confront those who harmed him and his loved ones. The lyrics have resonated with an entire chunk of the population who have shared their experiences of abusive or toxic relationships and family issues in these social media videos. 2 months after the release of 17 Going Under, Sam described the response as bizarre and incredibly heartwarming. Like a lot of his music, this track is heavy on personal struggles, particularly the challenges faced by his mother. His songwriting is raw, straightforward, and honest, reflecting his background from North Shields rather than being overly intellectual, something people can really grip onto. With 17 Going Under, Sam Fender created a more cohesive and dynamic album in comparison to his first, having gained confidence in his artistic choices. You can really feel that he delved deeper for this album, to create something that was far more profound and substantial. There are themes of life and death, love and heartbreak, rage and regret all through the album. And not to mention the very welcome addition of a saxophonist. This album represents a significant improvement, especially in its lyrics. It moves away from the previous album's sometimes clumsy political themes and instead focuses on vivid details from Fender's own experiences. While it still has that unmistakable, uplifting sound reminiscent of Springsteen, the lyrics confront darker subjects. So there's this powerful contrast going on between the energetic music and the serious messages in his songs. And there's an underlying sense of anger throughout, especially in songs like Paradigms, where Fender sings "No one should feel like this," and in I, which captures the disillusionment of the white working class. In Spit of You, Fender tackles father-son relationships, inherited anger and communication struggles. It's a really different album to what you'd expect to hear in the indie rock scene in the UK. It's urgent, incisive, it's courageous, rather than forgettable like a lot of other indie albums you might hear today. Rather than opting for bland, festival-friendly melodies, Fender delivers a powerful album that resonates with the present while evoking the spirit of the early 80s. However, despite this monumental success, his roots leave him feeling anxious. He told DIY, "I don't think I deserve it, and I just sit there thinking I shouldn't be here. Is this a fluke? It's because of where I'm from and how I was raised. I'm always waiting for it to all go wrong. Where's the catch? Something's gotta go wrong." The writing process for this album also coincided with Sam's first experience of therapy, where he worked on self-acceptance and understanding, which really allowed him to unlock those issues from his childhood. And remember, in addition to the normal challenges he faced growing up, he also had to deal with the pressure of fame and attention, and he continues to struggle with this today. For example, in 2022, he announced a brief hiatus from touring to prioritize his mental health, revealing on social media that he and his band are feeling burnt out. This is a man who truly practices what he preaches. From there, Sam just continued to reach new heights. He played a humongous homecoming show in Newcastle's St. James Park in 2023, headlined Reading and Leeds Festival in the same year, and in 2024, was included on a project by the legendary Mark Knopfler. Proceeds from the track went to Teenage Cancer Trust and its American counterpart, Teen Cancer America. In August 2024, Sam Fender announced that Brooke Bentham had joined his band. The two first met as teenagers while busking in Newcastle and North Shields. He says her vocals will feature prominently on the next album. And what can we expect with album number 3? Well, in 2022, he said this: "I think the next album I'm going to do will probably be about the same thing as 17, to be honest. There's so much that I've still got to talk about that I think will be cathartic and useful for people." Now, another band that I find so exciting in the UK rock scene at the moment is Fontaines DC. I've done a video about them and their story as well. Click over here to watch it.